Let's just find out what the beginning
Thanks.
is. Well, suppose we brought an ice cube. We put it in anything, and then we warmed this cube. How about if we put it on fire? You know, this is a control situation. The solid state will transform from the solid state to the second state of the matter. In the liquid state, what do you think if we increase the heat more? Then this water, until it turns into the third state, which is gas. If we increase the heat more and more, it can reach thousands of degrees. Then this gas will get heavier. The majority of electrons will leave the material and leave the nucleus, implying circuits. In some cases, the nucleus itself disintegrates and turns into protons and then neutrons. You have reached plasma.
Peace be upon you and the mercy of Allah. This is Hani Al-Muhjub, greeting you from the Bandu Al-Aljan and Families channel. Welcome. Allah, the Exalted, created man as a giver. Then his creation turned into the structure that we see it performance. So it became composed of meat, bone, blood, organs, cells, and veins. And Allah created the ignorant from fire. So what is the image that has become impossible on him? After Allah created him from fire, we return to the old interpreted books. It came in the interpretation of Qurtubi, in the interpretation of his saying, created the jinn.
City to city Minar.
God, may he be exalted, created it
From the
Then
fire.
I chose some of it by some between red, yellow, and green, because the fire is when
it
used,
ignites, it
and it
appears-
has these colors. The red, yellow, and green are heavy. God, may he be exalted, created it from this multicolored fire. And about Ibn Abbas, may God be pleased with him, he said in his saying, Almighty and hell, bridled from the fire, they
And
created
who owns
it.
it?
And he also said that he created heaven from pure fire, or that he created it from her tongue or from her edge. And also in his saying, exalted, we created paradise from fire before the sky. Ibn Abbas also says that it is a fire with no smoke in it. And it is mentioned in the book of the strange and wonderful of the jinn, that jinn is a gentle soul who eats, drinks, marries, and reproduces. Also came, and if we were that life needs a structure, as Allah, glorified and exalted be He, after He created Adam the given, He breathed into him His spirit. So life sprouted in him. So life needs a structure to exist in. So I'm talking about the fire structure that the spirit was kindled in. It says if we were that life needs a structure, it would not have died that God Almighty builds it from the body of fire. And it is as it is from the bitterness. And my varied parts moved inconsistently. Also came the saying of Judge Abdul Jabbar al-Hamdani, that we do not see them because their bodies are thin, or because of their weak sight. If Allah strengthened our sight or thickened their bodies, let's see. And the fire is accompanied by the process of respect, and the combustion process is the combination of matter with oxygen to form a new compound. This reaction between any element and oxygen,
Be
as
optimistic.
chemists call it, an exothermic reaction. That is, it is exothermic, accompanied by the release of a certain amount of heat.
And also came the statement of
Silver
Al-Qam.
Abdul Jabbar al-Hamd. We don't see them because their bodies are thin or due to their weak vision. And if God strengthened our vision or thickened their bodies, no. And fire is a partner in the combustion process, and the combustion process is the union of matter with oxygen to be a new compound. And this reaction between any element of the elements and oxygen must be reacted. It becomes a reaction, as chemists call it, a heat repellent reaction, which means it's reactive with the release of a quantity of heat. And this heat may be difficult due to light or due to the presence of fire.
So there is an
When it
occupation
enters
difference.
the human body, and this combustion is also a union, some materials react with oxygen, and this reaction also produces heat, but it's enough to warm the bodies. But when elements ignite or when elements combine with oxygen in the air, they ignite, and this heat result is accompanied by a fire blaze. Fire always illuminates, because when flames ignite, we see light, or it lights up the surrounding area. So what is the source of this light? Why do hot gases emit light? Or why does a fire produce when heated? Different materials or when combined with oxygen. As I mentioned to you, this reaction is accompanied by the release of some heat. This amount of heat affects the structure of the button. All atoms of different materials consist of a nucleus. This nucleus contains a group of particles carrying positive charges called protons, and around it revolves a number of electrons carrying negative plates. These electrons, each carrying a negative charge, orbit around the nucleus. Each of these orbits has a specific energy. As a result of heating, this electron moves from its orbit to a higher orbit in energy, but it soon returns. When it returns to its orbit again, it loses this energy that it acquired in the form of light. It's what we see. This is the condition on which the button is ionized. The fourth state is called plasma, or the fourth state of matter, also known as the state of plasma. And in this case, gases turn from the gaseous state to the solid state. The plasma condition, in which the protons are positive with the negative electrons in the same space, and without these electrons colliding with the protons, again, in the speech, it exists in the same space and at the same time. And the fourth state of matter is called a more expressive state.
إذا كان الله خلق الجنة من نار، فلماذا لا نراه كما نرى النار؟ فالنار لا بد أن تكون مصحوبة بالضوء. نجيب فنقول لأن البلازما قد تكون غير مرئية، فقد نشر على أحد المواقع الإلكترونية العلمية مقالا عنوانه الأرض محاطة بأنابيب غير مرئية من البلازما. جاء فيه أن باحثة تدعى كيليولوي عثرت على مجموعة من أنابيب البلازما العالية ومنخفضة الكثافة تصل بين الغلاف الأيوني والغلاف البلازمي، والغلاف الأيوني والغلاف البلازمي من طبقات الغلاف الجوي. وقيل أن هذه الطبقة أو هذه الأنابيب توجد بموازاة خطوط الحقل المغناطيسي الأرض، وذلك على ارتفاع 600 كيلومتر عن سطح الأرض. إذن فهناك بلازما غير مرئية، فقد تكون أجسام الجان مخلوقة من هذا النوع من البلازما التي لا نراها. وهناك سؤال آخر: إذا كان الجان خلق من النار وهم موجودون معنا ويحيطون بنا، فلماذا لا نشعر بحرارتهم؟ الإجابة لأن هناك نوع من البلازما أيضا يسمى البلازما الباردة. أو البلازما غير الحرارية، أي أنها بلازما أو نوع من البلازما ولكن غير مصحوبة بكمية من الحرارة، أي يحدث فيها تأين للغازات، تنفصل الإلكترونات عن النواة فتصبح الإلكترونات السالبة منفصلة عن النواة التي تحمل شحنات موجبة، ويتواجد كلا الاثنان في وقت واحد أو في توقيت واحد، ولا يشترط أن يكون ذلك مصحوبا بانطلاق أو بوجود كمية من الحرارة، لأن هذه الحرارة قد استهلكت في إعطاء الإلكترونات طاقة، وهذه الإلكترونات فقدتها في صورة الضوء الناتج. ومن أمثلة حالة البلازما الغير حرارية كمثالا عمليا في حياتنا أنابيب الفلورسنت أو مصابيح الفلورسنت. مصباح الفلورسنت مصباحا مضيئا توجد فيه الغازات في حالة البلازما ولكنه غير ساخن. إذا وضعت يدك على مصباح الفلورسنت فإنك لا تجد أو لا تشعر بحرارة، لأنه قد يكون أو قد يوجد في درجة حرارة الغرفة. وأخيرا فإن الجزم بطبيعة أجسام الجان لا يكون إلا بدليل قاطع من كتاب الله تعالى أو سنة نبيه صلى الله عليه وسلم، وكل ما ذكرناه تفسيرات تعود لنظريات علمية قد تقربنا من الحقيقة التي يعلمها وحده سبحانه وتعالى. أرجو أن يكون هذا الفيديو قد أعجبكم وقناتنا نالت رضاكم. دمتم في رعاية الله وأمنه، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.